Holy shit.
Yeah, it's something.
There's really no redeeming features about these, I would say.
That is the thickest phone I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I've seen this on the internet before. I knew it was thick, but this is like...
thick. Looking at it more closely, I don't know where that weight's coming from. I don't know whether this is real metal frame or not. If it is, they've managed to make it look fake, which I guess is an achievement.
Holy shit. This is definitely a little bit more the club edition of the glyphs.
Yeah, so I've never been involved in anything like this where you've just kind of, your job was to just do a copy of something else. It's clearly a copy. And in some ways, it's kind of a nice demonstration of why we're more than transparent materials and textures and flashy lights, because this is exactly that.
Whoa, oh, wow. My personal view is that that becomes really distracting. The main reason for the glyphs is that it is a way to give you notification, so you look away from your screen. But if you suddenly add all these crazy party lights on, it's kind of become more of a distraction. There's like a fine line between something useful or something gimmicky. And I think they've kind of taken the gimmicky turn.
The user experience is absolutely terrible. I can't find a simple task. I want to see if there's ringtones that go with these light patterns, and I can't find that.
Evenness of the light is really poor, and you can see kind of hot spots, and it's patchy. And we've worked really hard on ours, and if you look at ours, we get a really nice even light. It's like a sort of shop window of a pharmacy or something.
Yeah, it's something.
This is something that we've actually looked into as a studio a lot.
So yeah, I quite enjoy this. It's a very different approach to us.
So these are all kind of the very typical details that you would find if you opened up a product, which are now visible from the outside. And if you compare that to any kind of nothing product, you won't see any of those details. We do a lot of work in figuring out how we achieve what we've done.
You can see the adhesive in here, which is a little bit untidy, and it's really difficult to kind of deal with that. And that's something that we spend a lot of time as well. How can we hide these things? How can we use different kinds of optically clear adhesives?
When we design our nothing products, then we start from the transparency and then we design everything on the inside so it's gonna look neat. Here you kind of see all the mechanical details inside in a way that is quite scattered.
There's like an extra layer of complexity that you need to make sure that when everything is assembled, it looks really cool. Making transparent product is difficult because the yield rate is much lower, because they need to be in a controlled environment of like humidity and dust. Doesn't seem like it's made to be transparent, but I think it's a really interesting take that they've done.
For a company that's owned by Apple, right, you'd think that they'd have resources to do something more interesting. Yeah, I think it's just okay.
You can see that Apple and Beats care about how their products look inside as well as outside. I don't get that from this. This feels like very bare engineering.
These are weird. I mean, a white PCB board is quite nice. They're not so common because I know that they're a little bit more expensive. Yeah, it doesn't feel like you need to show the PCB because you're not gaining so much from that.
Inside this case, you can actually see all the way through it. I think that's quite cool, that there's this like inner structure suspended within this transparent shell.
Very odd shape. I don't know how they kind of arrived at that as a form. I mean, the external shape is bad enough, and then underneath there, they've got these white parts, which is even more weird shape. Almost looks biological.
All right, so this one is a little bit more clear, a little more cleaned up maybe compared to the Beats one that we saw.
The glue areas, you can see it's pretty messy. Yeah, maybe I think these are more interesting than the Beats in terms of interest factor, a little bit higher. Execution factor, still not great.
Yeah, it almost looks like something that you put on an exhibition to show what components you have on the inside, but it's not really something that you should sell to someone, I think.
There's really no redeeming features about these, I would say.
This is a little bit more fun though.
You know, I'm still blown away when you kind of take something apart that there's just these guts inside.
This is a bit more old school, of course, the old phone, but I would say in this case the transparency is just makes more sense. They also played around with the colors in a super nice way. This is actually a bit inspirational.
Also just amazed that that's what that used to be. I mean, that's what a computer is as well. Your desktop computer, your phone, your camera, your notepad. It's kind of incredible.
Gives me a little smile on my lips when I see this one.
This was the start of it all, really. This was the start of the wave of Apple that was just amazing for about 15 years. It was just so exciting. You just didn't know what they were going to do next.
Yeah, this is a classic.
I haven't seen one of these in a long time. Again, bringing back a few memories.
And it was all in one as well, which was the Apple thing that they always did, which, you know, you would get a PC and you would have to basically wire it up. And this one, you've just got this one handle and you just take it out of the box and plug it into the wall and then you're working. That's just making technology accessible.
In my mind, when I remembered this one coming out, maybe I thought that it would be a bit clearer. Now when you see it today, you can see a little bit more of the mechanical things on the inside that we tried to hide in our products.
This kind of corduroy texture on the front is cool. Yeah, the transparent speaker covers is interesting.
You can take so much inspiration from like the tinted plastic, the milky plastic. I especially love this guy, which is the cable management. Like they've considered everything, that you just hide it in and then this little thing comes out. It's so easy to open.
This one is a good example where it's clean and simple and it's from the start intended to be transparent.
Yeah, this mouse is cool, but not actually the original iMac mouse. The original, I'm sure a lot of people will remember, was actually circular, which maybe looked nice, but in reality was not the most practical kind of form for a mouse.
The transparency on this guy is super impressive. You think that the white piece is much further. That's just because of how thick the transparent plastic is. It's a product that's like out of this world, but at the same time, it's a little bit nostalgic. Oh yeah. Game Boy Color. Oh, memories are coming back.
I don't know, I think there's a nostalgia definitely for me. I mean, to sort of contradict myself, this is what those other products were doing. It was a pre-existing internal design with a transparent shell. Maybe that's the reason why I don't love the newer people doing that, because it's already been done. For us, like, we'll always have a memory of this like style of product.
Beats have probably taken a lot of inspiration from the Game Boy. I also remember that the brightness didn't go up very high, so every time that you had to be told that to go to bed, I mean, when you're playing in your bedroom, you just can't see anything. That was part of the fun of it, I guess. Yeah. All these products, some of them are inspirations to us, some of them are inspired by our products. I guess like they never knew whether it was going to be a success or not, so they just kind of put everything out on the line. Maybe now you have to listen to marketing, you have to listen to sales channels and stuff. On the other hand, like looking at products that's inspired by nothing products, I think that's amazing. It's that nothing is being noticed, but also transparent design is maybe slowly coming back. For us, how can we make sure that we're always one step ahead of our competitors? We're so small, so we gotta be quite creative and spend our time quite diligently. Transparency means so many different things. It doesn't just mean it's a transparent shell. We need to start considering different options for transparency and being able to show the internals and tell our customers a story within our design. You have to do, when it's like not opening properly, you have to do like, and it's working properly.